left corporate and started out as a business mentor and as a coach. So last 15 years, I've been working as an entrepreneur. So I'm a slightly hybrid model. Like being a corporate guy and now being an entrepreneur. So I think I'll bring all those kinds of experiences. And I felt, this particular topic would be relevant because we're talking about marketing. And to me, customer experience is a very critical aspect of marketing. You can have the best branding, you can have the best PR, you can have the best everything. But if you don't get your customer experience right, you're finished. So that's why I sort of titled it also accordingly. Customer experience is really the marketing make or break test. You can promise anything. You can promise anything to the customer, consumer that we are the best, we are good, we are this, we are that. End of the day, if you do not pass that final test at the consumer point, or at the touch point, or at the B2B space where you're actually talking to a customer, you promise something, you end up delivering something else. Right? So which is why I felt this is very important from a marketing perspective. Right? I've also been in the marketing side as a product manager and marketing manager. So I've seen marketing sometimes tend to sell a lot of stories. You tend to over-project the brand. Like, we are this and we are that and we are this and we are that. But we don't deliver that. And then that's what makes or breaks you also. So this is really what I'm going to cover. I won't get too much into my background. So I sort of evolved from a corporate leader into a mentor, business mentor, working mostly with entrepreneurs, with SMEs, with family businesses, small businesses, to help them to sort of get the best practices of a corporate into a small business. Structure, processes, vision, clarity, customer experience, employee experience, all the things which are going to make that company grow. Right? It's not just about having a great product, like Salma spoke about, right? Innovation is not just about a product or service. Innovation is about a lot of other things that you do to get your thing going. Right? So I'm enjoying my journey. I think Santa spoke about joy. Being grey was never more fun. Right? I'm enjoying this last 15 years of giving back my learnings and experiences, and I really enjoy every day. And I think the meditation also helps because it keeps me cool, right? Nothing hassles me that way. Okay, so why do you think this heart is coming first? I'm talking about customer experience. So let me just talk about this. Sorry, I'm going to go fast. Most of the companies, tend to focus a lot on what is my product or service strategy? Which customer segments am I servicing? Right? Which channels am I going to use to reach out to them? Am I going to use a direct team? Am I going to use channel partners, distributors, dealers, etc.? Which geographies do I want to participate in? Do I want to participate only in South India, All India, global, Middle East, Africa, wherever? So all the companies sort of get this part right. They get this part right. They define that clearly. They define that fairly clearly. They define the channel strategy fairly clearly. They define the geography and markets very clearly. But one area which is sort of left slightly open-ended, fuzzy, is the company leadership clearly defining what customer experience are we going to offer to our consumers or customers. That is left to chance in many organizations. Which is why I felt, customer experience is really at the heart of the marketing game. Marketing is not about selling a brand. Marketing is about delivering that brand promise. And that's really the point I want to make. And actually, 6 months ago, when I had a similar talk in this marketing summit, my topic was marketing is not about B2B or B2C. It's about P2P. And why did I choose that topic? I said P2P is about people to people. End of the day, business happens between one person and another. It's very personalized. And when I talk about customer experience, also it is about P2P. It's about, so in a way, this topic is an extension of what I possibly shared last time, but with a different context. Right? But end of the day, customer experience is a very people game. So I think we need to just keep that in mind, that are we as an organization, as a team, whichever, many of you are working in corporates, many of you are solo entrepreneurs, each one of you is dealing with customers or consumers. Right? How are you bringing customer experience up to giving it the required importance that it needs? So some of the questions that you could look at is your company the face of the brand? Are your products or services the face of the brand? Somebody spoke about Apple in the morning. You buy an Apple product blindly. I don't. Right? I neither have an Apple laptop, nor do I have an Apple phone, and I'm very happy about it. I have a Samsung phone, I have a Dell laptop, which has been serving me quite well for many, many years. So people buy a product based on the brand. Okay, Apple means it should be good. I'm willing to pay that premium for it. Right? I don't care if it's 50% more expensive in the market, but I want that brand only. Right? So there, either the company or the brand, the product is the face of the brand. In many cases, your sales team becomes the face of the brand. The people who are actually going and meeting the customers or becomes the face of the brand, because how they interface with the customer is what creates the impression in the customer's mind. Right? You see, just overselling, or are they just overselling, are they just overpromising, or do they create a good rapport to really understand what my need is, what my pain area is, and actually give a product or service that matches that. Right? So quite often this becomes the face of the brand. Right? As a solo entrepreneur, how many of you are solo entrepreneurs here? Coaches, marketers, many of you are solo entrepreneurs. As solo entrepreneurs, we become the face of the brand. Like I've been now in business for the last 15 years. Hardly anybody knows the name of my company. And actually I don't care. I use my company only to build my end customer for the invoicing. They're dealing with me, right? They're dealing with me because I'm the mentor, the coach they reach out to, or somebody refers me to somebody, right? So as a solo entrepreneur, we become the face of the brand, and we should be mindful of that. It's not your website that might be attracting people, right? It's not what you put on the website that attracts people. It's about are people referring you, saying that go to this person, go to Sanita, go to Sunesh. No, they are great in what they do, right? That is what is your brand, and that's what is based on some customer experience that they've had, or they've seen, or they've heard. And there are many companies, like I spoke about Modi Xerox. We did not spend too much time promoting our products. We spend more time and energy for promoting this. But once you buy our product, you are safe. If you have a problem with your product, don't buy it. And we have a full-fledged setup to take care of it. Right? So we are actually positioning customer experience as the face of the brand. Right? Japanese products are great, but if they fail, you can forget about your service for the next 2-3 weeks because the part will not be available. Right? But if you buy from us, you will get the problem fixed the same day or the next day. And that was a big reassurance to the client. Right? We were not over-promising, we were promising what we felt we could deliver. Right? So I think it's important to look at for each of you this thing. Right? What is the face of the brand? When your clients and consumers vouch for your experience, right, then we don't need to sell. When somebody else is selling for you, you don't need to sell yourself. Right? Half the job is already done. When somebody is referring you, saying that look, go to Salma or go to anybody, the job is done. Right? Because that person will not recommend unless they have that confidence in that individual. Right? So word of mouth becomes priceless. But how does word of mouth come? Word of mouth can be a double-edged sword, right? It can be good and bad. Oh, don't ever touch these guys. Don't ever go to so-and-so. Don't ever deal with that person, right? So word of mouth can be very, very dicey. So as customer experience, you have to know that, look, how are you creating positive word of mouth? Not by putting a lot of effort, but through the quality of the work that you do, quality of the output that you do, right? So it's always a question of the lowest touch point. The lowest touch point is where your customer experience is. It's not at the leadership level, right? Very often people don't even get to access the managers or the leaders, right? They are experiencing somebody at the call center, somebody at the customer care department, somebody in the counter, somebody in the restaurant. It could be a waiter who's coming to serve you, or the person who's coming to take your order. That is your experience of that brand. So I think it's important to know that one concept that we, I think, used very well in Xerox was the fact that the external customer experience is driven by the internal customer experience. So we used to always say, identify who are your internal customers. I was talking to, I think, in the afternoon, right? Quite often marketing and sales don't talk to each other. Marketing does what it feels is right, sales does what it feels is right. What we say, sales is your customer for marketing. Marketing is the customer for sales. So we created this concept of internal customer, that if you take care of your internal customers, it automatically has a rub-off effect on the culture of the organization. Automatically will have an impact on the external customer experience. Quite often when you have a lousy customer experience, it is because departments internally are not coordinated. The person on the ground is saying something, somebody inside is saying something else, somebody else is saying something else. Everybody's trying to cover the backside. Right? Try to defend, oh, it's not my problem, the problem is there, the problem is there, the problem is there. So these are some of the things that we talk about where customer experience becomes the driver. So I just classify customer experience in 3 different categories. It's either good, bad, or ugly. There was a nice movie on this long time back, Clint Eastwood, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Good, Bad, and Ugly. So I think in this, we have to look in terms of different companies are either offering very good service or they are offering very lousy service. Or some people in between are just about passing the test. That's why I call it a marketing test. Think back at some of your recent experiences. Right? How many of you are going to take a cab after this session? All the best. Thank you. Right? Because you try taking a cab at peak time in Bangalore, you are at the mercy of somebody else. It's a question of hit and miss luck. Right? So now you have big companies like Ola, Uber, big brands, big money, big marketing budgets, big everything. Right? But what matters is your experience with the cab driver. Do you get him? Does he cancel at the last minute? And if you get it, do you have a clean cab or do you have a dirty cab? So if you look at cab services in Bangalore, just look at last couple of months. Would you classify them in this category or this category? Which is the more predominant category? Bad or ugly. Anybody has had a good experience? Not even one. You had a good experience. No, once in a while we have. If you're really lucky, you get a good cab driver, you get a clean cab, and you get the guy doesn't cancel, right? But the point I'm making is that's an exception, right? There are almost 15 people in this room, and only one hand went up. That's sort of an indicator that look, these companies are big. Ola, Uber are big. They're not small companies. They're not startups. Right? They've been there now for quite some time. They changed the rules of the game. They were very innovative. They got everybody hooked onto it with low pricing. And once they got hooked, they couldn't care whether you have a good experience or bad experience. And I think that's a very bad thing for the business. Eventually, it affects business. Right? You may take an Ola Uber because you have no choice today, not because you're happy about it. Right? And I think that's not a good situation to be in. So you'll have to find some other small cab company coming in, giving a very good experience. Like recently, I found the airport, my driver was not there, so I took an airport cab and I had a very good experience. It was neither Ola nor Uber. It was just a regular airport cab. They charge the same, but I had a good experience. So what happens is when companies reach a state that they become indifferent to the customer experience, some other options will come. Option 3 will come, option 4 will come, option 5 will come, and they will slowly eat into the share of these because people are fed up with them. Right? Take the example of travel. All of you travel. Have you had good experiences lately? No? How many of you travel Indigo? Yeah. Indigo had a great reputation for being bang on time. For the last 6 months, I've been traveling every month. I've not come across a single flight that has been on time. And they're no longer apologetic about it. 30 minutes delay, they put 30 minutes delay on the board, finally it takes off 1 hour 15 minutes later. And just very standard, we're sorry for the delay and they carry on, life is normal. So this is where, brands take so much of trouble to create an image that Indigo is always known for timing. Not for quality, but timing, right? Which is important for a consumer traveling. I want to reach my meeting on time, right? If the flight gets delayed by 1.5 hours, everything gets delayed. People miss connecting flights and all that. So this is something that you can see that today there was so much of competition in the market in the airlines. It got systematically cut down to now your choices are so limited. so limited that either you fly Indigo or you fly Akasa or you fly Air India. There are no other options. Right? I was in telecom 2000 to 2008. There were 14 telecom players at that time. I worked in Airtel, I worked in Reliance. There were 14 telecom players. Customers could just choose the best one they wanted. Today, what's the choice? Airtel, Reliance. Vodafone also is gone. So what's happening is, a large number of competition keeps people on their toes. But what's happening, I think, in the country is that the number of competitors is reducing. It's becoming almost not a monopoly, it's becoming a duopoly. Ola, Uber, Indigo, Akasa, right? Your choices are limited and they know your choices are limited. So they can charge you whatever they feel like. Festival time, they charge you 3 times, right? And you have no choice but to pay if you want it. So I think that's not a sustainable business practice. That's the point I'm making, is that whatever was good can also get screwed up. So being consistently good in customer experience is a DNA, it's a culture of the organization. And that's a leadership failure. If the culture is slipping, it's a leadership failure. It's not the problem with the person on the ground. It's a leadership failure. So that's why I say marketing is always driven from the top. But that leadership does not look at this customer experience seriously enough. You just look at the number of complaints that have come, is it having any major fire, any major issue. And I work a lot with SMEs, right? And I keep joking to the CEOs that you are not the CEO, you're the chief escalation officer. Because every second complaint goes all the way up to the CEO, which will never happen in a big organization. In a small organization, will go straight to the CEO. I want to talk to your CEO, right? So CEOs are spending more time firefighting because somebody else in the organization has not done their job, the product or services that they've offered. Talk about hospitality. How many of you had a great experience in hospitality of late? Sama?
Yeah.
I know you're a big Marriott fan. So I've known Sarna for the last, 6-7 months, right? And I've always heard her saying that, look, I am absolutely loyal to Marriott. I will not stay anywhere else but in a Marriott. So I always asked her why. So maybe you could talk about why.
Okay.
They know her. So the moment she books, they know exactly these are her preferences. Because there's a pattern, there's some data which is being captured. Right? So those are the kind of things that customer experience is about, the personalization. Right? When you walk into a hotel, do they recognize you or do they just one more number? Right? So that personalization is often missing. Right? Same thing with e-commerce and Q-commerce. Now everything has become e-commerce, Q-commerce post-COVID. Right? Now you want 10-minute delivery. Nobody asks for 10-minute delivery, they're giving it. Right? Nobody's complaining about it. Right? But the fact is that it's become very transactional. If you have a problem, too bad. You get a product on Amazon and it's not what you ordered or something different, you want to return it, it's a bit of a painful procedure. Right? So it's become I think everything has become very volume driven. Cab service has become a numbers game. Airlines travel has become a numbers game. Number of passengers, number of this. This has become a numbers game. As the numbers start scaling up, a lot of organizations start compromising on the quality of the experience. And I think, how can you maintain that quality of experience even with the higher numbers that you're planning for in your business plan? Any thoughts or comments on this? I just chose a very simplistic, I didn't put a rating of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which most customer care departments put, right? That's standard. It's good, bad, ugly, right? If you find that bulk of the experiences are in this category, it means that this industry is in trouble. And the industry is in trouble, the consumers and the users are in trouble. Because they will have to just accept and compromise. Because there's no choice. The moment some better choice comes, they'll be the first ones to switch. So I'm not reading all of this. It's pretty clear that if there's a good customer experience, your chances of reordering a product or service are very high. Your chances of going back to the same restaurant are very high. I know for sure I tend to go back to 2 or 3 restaurants. I'm not the one who likes experimenting. I tend to go places where we always had a good experience. Right? Even if it's more expensive, no problem. I don't mind spending money, but it's important that the experience is good. Right? So when you start going to unknown restaurants, they're going based on a Google rating. I don't know how many of the Google ratings can even be trusted, because Google ratings are paid for always. Right? You You see a 4.7, you go there and you find it's all nonsense. Right? Not what you read and what you experience are very different. Those are the kind of things that we look at. Loyal fan, we just spoke about Salman being a loyal fan of Marriott. I'm sure all of you are loyal fans of some brand or the other. Right? How many of the customers would tend to give great ratings and also give great testimonials? One of the things I find with solo entrepreneurs, right? A lot of solo entrepreneurs shy away from asking for testimonials. I never do. I never shy away. Because if I have given my customer a good experience and ask them, how would you like to share your experience? Would you like to share your experience? They're more than happily do it. Right? And that helps me with 10 other customers. Because it's not me speaking, it's they speaking. Right? So these are all good things that happen when a good customer experience happens. And obviously, if it's a bad customer experience, none of these will look like. Right? So you can see the flip side of the good and the bad and the ugly. Right? If it's good, all these will happen. If it's bad, none of these will happen. And you can see the impact this will have on business. If not today, sooner than later. Right? But a lot of the organizations are blind to this. They just ignore it. Or they say, "Okay, it's okay, we manage." We're seeing Ola Electric, what's happening right now, right? There's so many complaints. The Ola owner stays 2 floors above me. That doesn't matter, but I'm saying that he's indifferent. He couldn't care a damn. He couldn't care a damn whether, so many thousand complaints are coming for the Ola Electric school. He's trying to defend it. Instead of trying to understand where the problem is, where is the empathy. Customers have put so much of money into it, they are going and dumping it in the warehouse. Instead of being empathetic, he's being defensive. Not a good leadership sign. Right? And this is where, if that culture starts from the boss, what do you expect the person down the line to do? It will just filter down, right? It will just pass on straight away. So I think, just a question for both of you all actually, right? If you are a marketing head, many of you are marketing heads, a lot of your time and energy goes into navigating product, pricing, positioning, market research, PR, right? You're looking at all the things that marketing should be doing, right? To get the right messaging. Right? And if you're an entrepreneur like Rajesh, right? You're always focusing, how can I grow my business? Right? You're seeing marketing and sales as important, as that's what's going to get me the business. Somewhere along the line, customer experience does not become the focus area either for a marketing head or for an entrepreneur. Do you agree with this or not? I mean, I'm making a statement which is quite direct. I've been in corporate, I've been in entrepreneurship, I've worked with entrepreneurs. Right? If any of you disagree with this, I'm happy to take a point and counter it.
So your point is, please say it again.
My point is, marketing heads are more focused on getting the product right, the pricing right, etc. Entrepreneurs are more focused on getting growth because they need the growth to sustain and survive. Right? So they put a lot of energy into sales and marketing. Right? Customer experience does not get the necessary importance. That is my point. Either at the entrepreneur level or at the marketing head level.
Yeah, no, as a definition, it definitely does. But like you said in the previous slide, firefighting is always happening. Right? See, escalation officer type of thing. So what we notice in our business also, because we're in the creative business, good creative, bad creative is completely subjective.
Yeah.
Okay, and we work with so many different companies across the country. What we notice is they're sticking with us only because of the experience.
Correct.
Because you're good guys to work with.
Correct.
Otherwise, a poster,
so
a film.
Created that. So you created that image.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time and energy trying to focus on that.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're focusing on let's win this award for this.
Correct.
In the long run, actually,
so you've done that. It's worked for you.
We're trying to we stay focused on that.
Very
We don't hit a 6 all the time though.
Very good.
That's why escalation happens.
So I work a lot with entrepreneurs. For example, one of the clients I work with very close by, she runs an interior design studio. Excellent work, right? High quality boutique interior studio. Very, very creative, very innovative, high quality work. But somewhere along the line in the execution, the project suffers.
Correct.
There are delays that happen, something does not get done properly, and all the escalations go back to the CEO, Chief Escalation Officer. Right? So the point is, instead of her as a founder focusing on other things, she's focused on firefighting all the time. And that's because the team below has possibly not got aligned to customer experience. A lot of focus is on how can we grow the business, how can we grow the business, how can we get more clients, how can we get more clients.
Absolutely. But in my
And this
experience,
gets
it's
compromised.
connected.
This gets compromised.
No, but in fact, the counterintuitive thing is if you focus on the customer experience, just give them a good time. Like you said in the previous thing, word of mouth.
It's automatically
automatically growth is happening.
That's the point I'm making.
Very true.
Customer experience is the heart. Yeah, it's the heart of marketing. Because when you get that right, your growth will automatically come. Your references will come.
Yeah. And to your earlier point, internal customers also.
Internal customers.
Customer experience is just that. So you become great team players.
Correct.
So, thank you. Yeah.
So I've always said this, I've been a solo entrepreneur for the last 15 years now. What matters is not what we say or do. It's what about what our clients say, what our customers say. Right? What we did or what we do to make a difference to them or to their business or to their lives. Finally, it is that. I think when the customer speaks for you, you don't need to sell yourself at all. Right? Whatever your business. So I think if you can shift the focus from too much of energy on marketing and branding to how can we improve the ground level reality. I think you'll have more and more customers watching for you, giving better ratings and all the other things that we spoke about. So, again, coming from a corporate background to an entrepreneur background, I spoke in Modi's talks about the importance of training. Right? The very important thing as the organization gets bigger and bigger and bigger, how much do you invest on training your teams? Train, retrain, right? Keep on training so that they are able to know that if I have this situation, what should be my response? If I get this objection from a customer, what should be my response, right? They're not thinking on their feet then, right? If you're checking into an interview counter and there's a problem, that person at the counter should know how to handle an irate customer.
Absolutely.
They can't say sorry, flight is delayed, you take it or leave it, right? If they can be a bit more empathetic, that empathy comes through training. Somebody has to train them that, look, if there's a difficult situation, this could be the best way of handling it. It's still a difficult situation. The situation doesn't get less difficult. But the customer feels pacified. The customer feels, okay, somebody has spoken to me nicely. They've explained the real situation. And fine, if it's delayed, it's delayed. We wait. Right? No customer is unreasonable. I think that's my point. But how we handle them depends a lot on the training. A lot of the training culture of the organization. So it's about motivated, well-trained workforce, right? And again, talk about the heart. That heart-based empathy comes when it comes from the top. The leader at the top couldn't care a damn. That's a culture that will pass on. TK, get the customer. I don't care. I want my numbers. I want my revenue. I want my collection. I want my this thing. How you do it is not my problem. Right? So this is where this heart-based leadership comes in. That you create a culture where everybody in the organization realizes that customer is the king. We are here because of the customer. I always used to say this, customers are paying our bills. Because of the customers, we are able to pay salaries. Because of the customer, so the customer is the king, right? We are not the kings. We are only the service provider. Right? If we don't keep the customer at the top of the pyramid, we are in trouble. If we keep ourselves at the top and customer at the bottom, then the whole model is going to get messed up very badly. Right? And this is something I've observed very, very often. Right? In many organizations, the larger organizations, the process is more important. No, but this is the written down process. I have passed it on to this department. That department is passed on to some other department. That in the middle of that, customer got forgotten. Process got followed. Right? So I think that is the important thing, that in many organizations, resolving the customer complaint is less important. Following the process is more important. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So who's defining the process? Whoever has defined the process has not possibly kept the customer at the end. So like in Modi's Rocks, again, I told you, we said within 4 hours you will get response. We're not guaranteeing a resolution in 4 hours. Because the engineer may come there and find that a particular part has to be replaced. Right? But he will communicate to you that this part will come in the next day, but tomorrow at 12 o'clock I will resolve it. Customers informed. Right? That's good enough. Customer doesn't mind waiting for 1 day if he knows it's going to get sorted by the next day. If it's left open-ended, I don't know, I pass it on to some other department. When the part comes, I will come and fix it. That's totally no empathy at all. I can't do it, it's not my responsibility, part has to come from another department. When it comes, I will do. So these are the kind of things which are culture based, which is driven by training. Right? So I keep saying, great marketing yarn has to be matched by good customer experience. Right? You can give whatever brand promise you want, but if it is not matched, you are in trouble. Culture is a driver across an organization. It has been driven top down, and it has to be ensured that it's happening well at the bottom. Surprise checks. When I was in telecom, we used to suddenly land up in one of our retail outlets. I opened some 800 retail outlets. We used to just land up at random as a customer. And we used to do that mock checking. Okay, I'm trying to buy a phone. Show me this, show me this, show me this, show me. The guy doesn't know that we are from the organization because it's such a large organization. So we used to keep on doing this random testing, keeping people on their toes. The moment we see a training gap, it goes back.
Right.
Right? In these 5 stores, we found that the staff was not fully trained. Please take care of it. So that the next real customer who comes does not have a bad experience. A lot of mock training that makes sure that people make the mistakes. We say make the mistakes in the room, not with the customer. And I think that's where training becomes so important. Most online and offline, and that's another thing, is that quite often it's a call center or a customer care department that's supposed to take care of customer experience, which is not. I mean, they might get the complaint, they might raise a ticket, but they have to make sure that the ticket is not just a ticket, right? It is actually going through the process and getting resolved. And the lowest level, I already spoke about the lowest level, mostly they're not empowered yet.
If you can go back to the previous
Slide. This one?
So these points are mostly referring to the ones. It could be for the individual business owners or the executive level, or the ones who are working closely with the clients itself. As marketing, I'm a person. How can I contribute to customer experience over here? Because not much of these listed over here would directly resonate with the marketing, what marketing would do, right? So how can we ensure that the customer experience is?
That's a good question. So what are you marketing for? To whom?
It's a professional services firm. So
Who's the end customer or consumer?
the brands, the businesses.
Who is reaching out to them?
It's us.
Do you directly reach out to them through marketing?
Like at what level are you talking about?
No, I'm saying marketing is coming up with a marketing strategy
Yeah.
or branding strategy to get business
Right.
from the end customer,
Right.
right? Are you doing it directly, or is there intermediate channel in between, like a sales team or a?
There is
Sales
and
team.
the audit team. Like there are.
So that's a point I mentioned about internal customer, right? The sales team is interacting with the end customer.
Right.
For you, the sales team is your internal customer. How you can contribute is to make sure that what they are communicating to the end customer is in line with what should be communicated. It could be a training gap. It could be the fact that they've not been properly briefed, that they don't know everything about what they should communicate, and that will impact the business result. So marketing, I moved from sales into marketing as a product manager, right? Because I understood the ground level reality of what a sales guy goes through. As a marketing person, I could add a lot of value. I knew exactly what their pain points were. Quite often, as I was mentioning, many of the marketing folk come straight from an MBA school into marketing and product management. They've never worked on the ground in the field. So there's a disconnect sometimes between what actually happening on the ground and what marketing thinks is good for the business. So quite often, sales and marketing don't see eye to eye. We were just speaking about that at lunch, right? Marketing thinks they've done a great job. Sales say, yeah, bullshit, yeah, I'm getting my numbers without you, right? So, and that happens. I think that's a reality. It's a reality, right? Marketing, I also mentioned in the morning, marketing is seen as a cost. They keep on spending money. They keep on doing roadshows. They keep on doing exhibitions. 4 crore budget, 5 crore budget. Kya ho raha hai, pata nahi, right? End of the day, it's not helping me with my numbers. So that's why the internal customer concept. That sales is an internal customer for marketing. Customer care team is an internal customer for marketing. Otherwise, your customer experience will not match your brand promise. I hope I've answered your question somewhat. Marketing is a facilitative role to get business. You're not spending money for nothing. But spending that money should translate into the end objective for which that money is being spent. It's not about ROI, it's about, are you achieving those objectives? Everything cannot be ROI, like you mentioned in the morning. Everything cannot be ROI. But yes, people are perceiving the brand much better, they're getting a lot more repeat business. And I think that's my next slide. You know, how can you possibly measure whether customer experience is good or bad? Right? It's like a business health check. So like we do a business health check for all our entrepreneurs. Marketing is one of the components within the business health check. So if it's a B2C, you know, typically it will be Google ratings. Okay, the Google rating is 4.3, 4.4, TK, it's 4.7, 4.8 good, which means a lot of customers are given a good rating. Recommendations, how much of your business comes through other people recommending you, right? As an entrepreneur or a business, right? How much of dirty complaints do you get online? I remember one of my clients, they're into the interior business again, furnishing business, right? They got one very bad Google rating. One customer had a very bad experience, right? He put a nasty comment on the feedback. This owner was very smart. He said, look, I've tried to speak to him, I've tried to reason out with him. He is not going to change his mind. He had a bad experience. I accept that. But now I'm going to make sure that I get at least 100 good experiences on Google. Right? So every subsequent customer, they went out of the way to make sure that they gave a great experience. They got ratings of 4.7, 4.8. Today, if you look at their rating, it's about 4.8. So that one bad experience got drowned by 100 good experiences. So if you see one crib and you don't take action, then that shows you're not sensitive about it. Right? Okay, it's okay, it happens. There will always be some dissatisfied customers. Sure, there will be some dissatisfied customers, but if it is to an extent that it can influence somebody else's decision making, that I want to book into this hotel, but I'm seeing a lot of bad comments about this hotel, I don't think it's worth it. Right? Rooms look good, everything looks good, site looks good, but if 5 people have given a bad comment, would I want to spend 10,000 rupees a night for that? Maybe not, right? So it influences. But if the organization is not looking at this and responding and proactively trying to change that opinion, then there's a problem. Client experience videos, testimonials, I think is a very powerful way of getting others to sell your brand instead of you selling your brand, because they are saying, look, we've had a great experience working with so and so, this company, that company. And they are the ones who keep recommending, they are the ones who keep referring and stuff like that. So one thing I keep asking my clients is that, tell me what percentage of your business is coming from references. And most of them don't even look at it that way. Right? If we say 30-40% of business is coming from references, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that, look, you have now created a good name for yourself in the market or for yourself. And if you're getting, say, 100 inquiries a month, at least 30 of them are from references. Great measure, right? Most companies don't look at it that way. So I just think this is something that it actually acts as a bit of a wake-up call to them. They never looked at references or tried to get references. So the interior design studio, for example, now they have a full program to try and get references. They're reaching out to all their past clients for the last 10 years. 130, 140 clients and saying that, would you be able to refer us into your society, into your housing complex, etc., etc., etc. Now they started getting references. Earlier they're not asking for it. If you don't ask, you don't get it. But it became a marketing strategy that let's aim for 30% business from references. Then they started asking for references. Now they're measuring it. How many references came last month? How many references are coming this month? They've also broken down references into 6 categories. Can we get references from existing clients, from old clients, from brokers, from this, from that? They created 6 categories somewhere they can get references. So I'm saying a marketing strategy defines that if we've given good customer experiences, let's leverage on that. Where we've had bad customer experience, let's try and repair the damage. So they also could become reference partners going forward. Repeat business is another good indicator. Customer satisfaction ratings, like I told you in Modi Xerox, we should do a customer satisfaction rating survey every quarter. And any rating less than 92% was seen as bad. If you got a customer satisfaction rating less than 92% in any product category or in any geography, that geography was in trouble. Modi Xerox is a hardcore hire and fire company. If you don't perform, you're out. And if any location had a low customer rating, they were in trouble. Which meant that somewhere along the line, process was becoming more important than quality. So then there was automatically correct. But this was a very important measure that way. A lot of people's incentives, bonuses were linked to this, not just to revenue. You might meet your revenue target, you might meet that, but if your customer experience rating is bad, your bonus gets cut by 50%. So that was the leadership's way of saying that, look, this is an important criteria. If you ignore it, you also lose. We'll also lose, you'll also lose. Customer experience, I told you about this interior design firm. Right now they've started measuring customer experience in 3 stages. From the time a customer inquiry comes to the time the actual meeting happens, right? What has been the experience? 100 inquiries come, some junior person is taking the call. The customer says, okay, yeah, you sent somebody. Right? A very indifferent experience. Gone, you lost a customer. So that got measured. Inquiry to first handling. Right? Then comes from the first handling to the closure. How well does this person close the deal? What has been the level of interaction? Does the customer get the feeling that this is a very professional organization, they've come professionally prepared, they've given me the best design options, they've given me the best pricing. I would love to work with them and spend 25 lakhs on my interiors, flat interiors. 25 lakhs is not a small amount for a flat interior. Right? The experience is not good, why will they go? They can go to somebody else, right? And the last one is, once the orders come, how is the whole project being managed? So now they have started measuring customer, this is one of their goals now. One of their business goals is customer experience now. And they've broken it up into 3 stages with 3 different teams being measured on. So I'm saying there are very simple, simplistic measures. It doesn't have to be something high funda, no major technology required. This is all, what's they called? NI, natural intelligence, not AI. Basic stuff which is easy to manage. It can be even done on an Excel sheet, it can be tracked easily. But it gets a message to the team that these measurements are important. And that's how the culture starts changing. Right?
So I have a question here. Customer satisfaction ratings. What methods you use to get the get to know that